All right, gentlemen, we're going to start right now. Lecture is going to be around 2 hours, Khalid. And yes, so there's 98 of you. To those who didn't arrive, I guess you're missing out. So, boys, first of all, I'd like to, thank you for your time coming here. I'm grateful for you putting the time in your day to listen. So, I want to make it kind of my goal to make this worthwhile for you. So that's what I do with these lectures. And we're going to have a Q&A at the end of this lecture. Just one Q&A this time. To those who were in the last one, I had two. Just want to make it one so it's more like it flows better. And yeah, boys, are you ready? I put the slow mode to 5 minutes so you guys can focus. You don't really need to say anything because for most of the lecture, I'm not even going to be reading the chat because it's very distracting. So the monitor is going to be down for most of the time. So just so you know. All right, boys, let's start. So this lecture is titled, let's see what I titled it. Your perfectionism is destroying you. Very, very true. I want to talk about my story as well. So let's start there. I've personally struggled with being a perfectionist, or however you want to call it, my whole life, I'd say. And this was with everything, with studies, with things I'd want to start, like businesses. You probably understand, or if you don't know what perfectionism is, it's this feeling that, you want everything to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. You can't start, maybe you can't take action until the stars are aligned and everything is there and perfect. Maybe you don't tell that to yourself, but deep inside, it's what's going through your mind, right? Maybe you're waiting for that perfect workout routine. That could be an example. But I've struggled with this for a while, and it's been very hard for me to kind of get over this. And I've learned a lot through my personal experience, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So just before, I don't read the lecture chat anymore, I want to ask you guys a question. So how many of you think you're perfectionists? Just write in the lecture chat. Okay. A lot of perfectionists. Cool. All right. So, yeah, I saw a lot of you type. Good shit. I'm honestly about to turn that upside down. I'm going to destroy every limiting belief that you have about this topic, that you think you're a perfectionist, whatever you want to call it. So first of all, to those who said that you're a perfectionist, that is already an issue. Why is that an issue? It's an issue because you sort of identify with that persona that I'm a perfectionist. And that is dangerous. Your mind, you have to understand, is very powerful, and the actions in your life will reflect and follow this sort of identity that you've created for yourself. So if you say, yeah, I'm a perfectionist, your actions will follow that. I know maybe it doesn't seem like that, but your mind is just very powerful. And over time, you'll form this, or even in the beginning, now that you have this mentality that you're a perfectionist, etc., you subconsciously form a victim mentality. And this is very dangerous stuff. Again, why is it dangerous? It gives your mind this sort of excuse to not take action, even if you're not aware of this. Maybe this is the first time you hear about this and this topic. It doesn't matter. If you just said that you're a perfectionist, that you think that and that's your identity, you form this victim mentality and your actions will align with that. And temporarily, right, this makes you feel good because in the present moment, you don't really have to take as much action. It's okay. But your future self will suffer This is a great example of this is someone saying, I'm an anxious person versus someone saying, I feel anxious, right? I feel anxious sometimes. When you really identify with something, even if it's true, even if you genuinely have anxiety, right? You genuinely, like your doctor told you have anxiety. Even if you have that, I think it's even better to reframe that and say, you know what? Yes, sometimes I feel anxious, even if it's the majority of the day. Or with being a perfectionist, it's good or okay or better to say, yes, sometimes I feel like I'm a perfectionist. I want to work on that. Rather than saying I'm a perfectionist, like all the time, essentially, is what you're saying. So which one do you think is better? Obviously, not the one that you identify with. So just the better statement to tell yourself. So that's kind of my first point. So stop really identifying with being a perfectionist, because you're just forming this victim mentality, which makes you feel good in the moment, but is going to hurt your future self. So this leads me to my next point that I want to talk about. And that is, I told you I'm going to break your limiting beliefs. That is that perfectionism is fake and not real. Interesting. What do I mean by this? Let's break this down. So the reason why you feel this feeling of perfectionism, I want everything to be perfect, etc., it's because in reality, we're scared. We're scared of something, right? We fear something, and we try to cover it up with our perfectionism. And I could say that about myself as well. I'm no exception. We fear being judged. We fear failure, for example. That's a big one, the fear of failure. We fear what other people think, right? We even fear success, believe it or not. Maybe you're not conscious of this, but a lot of us actually fear success. It's not as common as you think, but it stops a lot of us from actually achieving success. We can also fear not being loved. And all this is, in reality, a mask. Perfectionism is a mask. And if you remove that mask, all these fears come up, all these insecurities that I just talked to you about, right? So you tell yourself you're a perfectionist, but in reality, maybe you're scared of whatever, your family judging you because you started this YouTube channel, or your dad scolding you for starting that business. And again, this is very unconscious and very, you really need to be real with yourself. And it's not easy to uncover. And so I've really uncovered it myself about my life. But I really want you to think about this. Maybe as I'm talking right now, you're like, yeah, I'm a perfectionist in this area of my life because I fear this, or I fear what my friends are going to say. So really get real with yourself. Perfectionism is fake. We need to be real with ourselves and just tackle the real problem, right? Perfectionism is fake because it's a mask. It's masking the real thing. And the real thing could be your fear of X, Y, Z, whatever that is. So your goal is to be very introspective right now. And maybe as I'm talking, I don't know, pull out a notebook and write down like, yeah, I fear failure because I know if I start that business, there is a chance that I'll fail. That is why I'm being such a perfectionist and I'm working on this logo and this website for the past 7 months, and I didn't even take action on the real needle movers. It's probably the most common thing, actually. I'm going to talk about that later. Most people just don't take action on the right stuff. Why? Because they fear failure. And so they take action on the logo or the website or the design or all these things that don't move the needle. And I've been there before, so I say this with experience. So just to summarize, I want you to be introspective, maybe even journal after this session, this lecture, and say, okay, maybe there's one thing that you really want to take action on, but you're being a perfectionist on. Time to journal about that. I'm serious. If you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. You're going to regret in the future when it's 5 years down the line and you were such a perfectionist that you didn't take action on your business, on your goals. So I don't want you to regret, and I suggest you take action immediately. So that's the first action step of today. Be introspective about what is the mask behind perfectionism. I'm telling you, there is one. Even if you're like, no, there is no mask. I'm actually a perfectionist. You're wrong, more. Trust me, there's something. All right. So the next point I want to talk about is the perfect moment to take action will never arrive. So I kind of talked about this before, but a lot of you guys are waiting for the stars to align. You're waiting for the stars to align to start that business or to take action on your goals. Meanwhile, you're doing that, right? You're waiting for the stars to align. Meanwhile, there's another man out there who has less talent, less skill than you. But what is he doing? He's taking imperfect action, right? He doesn't know if it's in the right direction. Maybe he's going to fail, but he's taking that action anyway. And it's imperfect, right? Because he didn't wait like you to start that business, to wait for the summer, to wait for this, to wait till you graduate, to wait till your exams are over, to wait for that, to wait for that. No, he took action anyway. I want you like that man that I'm talking about, the hypothetical man. It's the example of, and I've struggled with this a lot, the example of picking a workout routine. I see on this Discord all the time, people are like, yeah, what's the best workout routine? What's the best routine for this? What's the best? The real answer is that there honestly isn't a best one. Maybe there's a more ideal one, obviously. There obviously is a more ideal one, but there isn't a perfect one. And I've struggled with that as well, with that mindset, specifically with the working out thing, because I always feared that my workout routine wasn't perfect. And so I kept searching online for the next video to tell me to actually do this exercise and not that one. And guess what that left me? That left me feeling even worse every single time, because this YouTuber is telling you to do that, and this YouTuber is telling you that, and do that, and do that, and do that. You know when this actually worked out for me? When I was just like, yeah, I did my research. It's not like I'm going blindly and just picking out a random routine. I did my research, enough research. Okay, good. And I found a few exercises that work. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to change them. I'm going to be consistent with them for months. Not going to change them. Obviously, progressive overload and all that good stuff. I'm not going to have, this fear that, oh, maybe this routine or this exercise is better. Guess what? It doesn't really matter that much. You need to show up. That's more important. So honestly, in the past, there were days where I was overthinking my workout routine and I even missed my workout. Like, I'm not even kidding. I would waste hours on YouTube looking at workout routines. And yet it's very depressing to think about, because that perfectionism in the past really hurt me. It cost me a lot of days, which I could have been working out. Maybe it wasn't perfect action, right? But guess what? You figure it out as you go. And that is really a powerful lesson that I want you to learn from this, is that it's good to research, right? I'm not telling you to just take action, even if whatever. You need to research, but don't be a perfectionist in these things like I did with my routine. So right now I'm going to pull up my monitor to look at the messages. I want to ask you a question. So what is an example in your life? I want you to be conscious of this. This is why I'm doing this, not for just, the funds. What is an example in your life of something that you feel like a perfectionist in? So it could be your studies. It could be this business that you want to start. So I want to take a second to see what you think. Yeah, common stuff. trying to make a video for YouTube perfect. My starter project, gym and women, writing a book. I'm going to talk about a few of these actually. Choosing a business and a niche. Good one, good one. It took me forever to make my first cold approach. Okay. Looking for jobs. Businesses, yeah. Yeah, notes is a common one actually. SMMA, okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to put the monitor down just so you know I'm not reading anymore. This is a really important section. And your perfectionism is actually an illusion. And it's in your head, right? You'll never actually achieve it. I want to read you a quote by David D. Burns. He's an American psychiatrist. He said, Perfection is a man's ultimate illusion. It simply doesn't exist in the universe. If you're a perfectionist, you're guaranteed to be a loser in whatever you do. So kind of harsh, but very true. So I kind of spoke about this before, but a lot of you guys said business, for example. And what you would do is you need to pick the perfect niche, right? Take SMMA, for example. I have experience in SMMA, so I could speak about that. You're focusing on the niche, or you're focusing on the things that aren't needle movers. Yeah, I got to work on the website. I got to ensure that I buy this thing first and I do this thing first and the logo. And wait, what about my slogan, right? What about my slogan? Maybe I need this. Maybe my name is not perfect. What about my domain? Wait, this domain is not good. Should it be a .com or should it be a .net? Like, you see these questions all the time. I see them all the time. And from experience, these type of people are destined to fail. And maybe I'm calling you out. And I was there too. And so I had to pick myself up and be like, yeah, you're making the mistakes more. Stop doing this BS. Because what you're actually doing is you're delaying action on the actual needle movers. And the non-needle movers, like starting the logo or registering your business, whatever, forming the LLC, that feels good. That feels comfortable. And the real stuff, for example, in SMMA, or in most businesses, just putting your message out there. Right? You have a business, you have an idea. The biggest needle mover is actually getting that idea in front of people, marketing that idea in front of people. So that should be the biggest thing that you focus on. Let me talk about the human experience. And you have to understand that as a human, everything, or just the fact that you're alive, is imperfect. Everything about your human existence has imperfect tied to it. You know, when you're listening to this lecture, I want someone listening right now not to hear me and think, yeah, Mower's perfect. You heard me, I mess up. I still have words I mess up. I'm messing up right now, literally. Literally, in the last lecture, I pissed in the middle of the lecture, and I was like, guys, I got to take a piss. Is that perfect? Tell me, is that like a perfect lecture? That is not a perfect lecture in my books. Everything about the human experience is imperfect. Look at nature, for example. I want you to look out the window. Maybe it's dark outside, but look at the trees. No tree is perfect. No tree is the same. These imperfections in nature, in animals, are what makes it perfect. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. So do you judge the imperfections of a tree, for example, of nature? No, you don't, right? But you have to understand that you are a part of nature. As a human being, you are part of nature. I'll give you an example. My dog, for example, I have a cute dog, and he has so his fur is kind of orangish. He's a golden doodle, so like golden, I guess. And he has a white mark, so it's kind of cute. That is not perfect, right? But that makes him unique. I think the same thing, although it sounds cliche, being imperfect as a human being is what makes you unique. And you have to understand that nowhere in the universe exists perfection, right? Everything about nature, about the world around you, everything is imperfect. Look at the computer or the phone that you have in your hand. It probably has, a scratch on it. That's not perfect. Everything, I'm telling you, everything around you is not perfect. So that's the little mindset shift I want to give you. So what do you do when you hear all this? How do you actually combat this perfectionism that you have? Because you understand that it's dangerous. Your goal as a man is to be 1% better every single day. And when you go to sleep, when you put your head down, you need to feel like you did 1% better than yesterday. And so what I'm trying to say here is don't strive for perfection. Rather, you want to strive for progress, for action, even if it's action in the wrong direction. And I'm serious. I really think that also done is better than perfect. So for example, let's say there's something that you feel you need to perfect. It could be writing a book. So I really think that if you get that book to 90% done, rather than 100% perfect in your eyes, that is so much better, because you have to understand that that extra 10, 15% to take it to perfection in your eyes, even though perfection doesn't exist, that can take you months. It could take you years. Is that really worth it? I'm telling you from experience, it's not. For example, a month ago, I wrote an ebook for my YouTube channel. So just an ebook to get people's emails, etc., and give them value, right, in exchange. So it's a very common thing in marketing. You take people's email addresses and you give them some value in return. So it's a fair exchange. So I wrote an ebook for overcoming your nofap urges. And when I wrote it, something about me wanted to be a perfectionist. I always felt like, oh, I should have done this, or is it really perfect? Is it really, I don't think it's perfect yet. Maybe I should keep revising. Maybe I should keep doing this. Maybe I should. And I didn't listen to that voice. Something about me was like, more, no, from experience, don't listen to that voice. Done is better than perfect. So that's what I did. I got it out. And people were happy. People were like, this is life-changing. This is great. And it really taught me a lesson that really, let's say I wanted to make it 100% perfect in my eyes. That could have taken me another month, another 2 months. And in reality, that would have stopped people from getting their hands on it, and from me changing their lives, or maybe helping them 1%, making them 1% better. So that's how I see it. So done is better than perfect. Really think, what are you trying to perfect on right now in your life? Better that you just finish it, get it done, rather than making it 100% perfect. That's how I see it. So in terms of incorrect action, I kind of talked about this. I said incorrect action is better than no action at all. This is so true. You might say, no more, that's wrong, because what if I waste time? It's so much better than just being stationary, though, and being in your head and trying to perfect everything. You have to understand that, let's say you have this business idea. You don't know if it's perfect. You don't know if people will like it. You don't know. You just don't know. In my opinion, it's better that you go all in on that and just get feedback from the world, from the people around you, see what works, see what doesn't. You're young. Most of you are probably, I could say, under 25, under 30. there's no reason why you can't try things, why you can't just jump in the water. And yes, you'll get feedback from the world around you. You'll try something and see if it works. And maybe, let's say you don't get any feedback. You'll still gain the valuable skills that you can apply later down the line. Let me give you an example. So in August 2022, I started an agency and I worked really hard. I really pushed myself, learned a lot of skills. And yes, I did get actually a few clients. It wasn't anything big. It was a few clients, and right now I have one client and he's using some software. If you guys are in the agency space, you probably know Go High Level, Side Tangent. But I learned a lot, but I understood that the niche that I picked wasn't ideal. And so what did I do? I learned a lot of skills, right, during my time, and I moved on. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this and go to the next thing. I'm not just going to keep digging, even if I see, okay, it's not working. I got the feedback from the people around me. It's been a few months, like 5-6 months. And yes, I got a few clients, but it wasn't something big. And yeah, it was a very, very saturated niche. And I was like, okay, I learned. I made a mistake. I just followed everyone who made the same mistake. I just basically followed the crowd like a sheep. Whatever everyone else was doing, I just copied, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this niche. It sounds good. But I learned a lot, and that wasn't a failure on my end because now I'm using those skills. So I know, again, this sounds pretty cliche, but failure is a part of your success. And the only way to kind of figure the right path is to jump in the water and mess things up and not be perfect and just learn to enjoy the process, the messing up. And with enough incorrect action, there's no reason you won't be successful. Over time, you're going to uncover more things they need to do, and you're going to correct yourself. Maybe the first time you started out, you picked the worst business idea, literally the worst one you can pick. But you learn, and then you correct your action every time. You correct your course. And you do that 5, 6, 7 times. It's not overnight. And one day you're going to find something that works. I'm kind of talking about business here, but this can apply anywhere. Yo, Xavier, can you ban that guy? We don't need negative people here. Thank you, bro. All right, back to not being distracted. What are the implications of being a perfectionist? I think a big implication, if you keep going down this route of trying to make everything perfect, of trying to make your business perfect, every single thing in your life perfect, is that in reality, you won't be able to give your gift to the world. And maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. That would mean you won't be heard. You won't be seen by other people because you're too afraid of, or you want to perfect everything. You want everything to be perfect. You're too afraid of what people will think. And honestly, I almost fell for this with my YouTube channel. So when I started my channel, it was a few years ago, so 2 years around that time. I wanted to do YouTube for a long time. And the reason I decided to do YouTube is actually I got on a one-on-one with Hamza when he was smaller in sub count. And we talked, and I was like, bro, I want to do YouTube, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. I want to perfect it. What if they don't like it? What if it's not perfect? And I'm happy I had that call with him because he really pushed me. And he told me, bro, if you're 1% better than someone, or 1% more than someone at this thing, then you have a reason to share that. And some people want to hear that, right? Some people want to hear what you have to say. And I took imperfect action right there. And I was like, yeah, I'm going for it. Thank you. I just needed that push. I needed that guidance from someone to tell me it's okay to take imperfect action. You're going to suck at first. Like, genuinely, you're going to suck at everything you start. If you look at my first YouTube video, it was trash. Literally trash. But I'm happy that I did that, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here speaking to you right now. And honestly, I think in our heads, we make things out to be way worse than they are. For example, with my YouTube channel, I thought people would judge me so much, and yeah, it has to be perfect, etc. Maybe they did, but it didn't matter. It was mostly in my head. So that's what I said. Perfectionism is a mask, and we hide all these emotions. So for me with YouTube, a lot of it was fear of failure. A lot of it was fear of what people will think, what my friends would think, what my family, what these people will think. You have to be real with yourself and just take action, even if it's imperfect, because the sad implication of being a perfectionist your whole life and not changing your course and just doing the same thing over and over is that, yes, you won't be able to give your gift to the world. I really think, and I said this in the last lecture, that each and every one of us has a God-given purpose. And maybe you don't know it right now. It doesn't matter. But I do believe that we're all here for a reason. And so maybe you don't have to figure out your purpose, right? But you have to be in the pursuit. That is, I think, very important. Be in the pursuit of your purpose. You don't have to have everything figured out. So I'm just telling you it as is because I wish that someone told me this when I started my self-improvement journey. The implications of not taking action, of being in your head, of being a perfectionist. And I'm glad that Hamza was able to take me out of that and tell me, you have to take action. I want you to do a negative visualization with me right now and take this seriously. I'm very serious about this. I'll do this with you. I want you to close your eyes right now and don't type anything. Close your eyes. And I want you to visualize the thing that you're being a perfectionist on. What is that thing that you told me before? Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's some goal that you have. You're not taking action on it. You're being a perfectionist. And you want to do something about it. So what we're going to do right now, that you have your eyes closed, I want you to visualize you not changing anything. You not changing your course. You staying that perfectionist your whole life. And just imagine that for a second. How does that feel to be 80 years old when your whole life you didn't take action on this thing that you're thinking about? And rather, you waited for the perfect moment. You waited for the stars to align. How does that feel, bro? I'm doing this with you right now. I want you to really feel in detail the emotion. How does it feel to be 80 years old, not taking that action? Just overthinking your whole life about the best job, the best business, the best thing. I'm doing this with you, and I'm telling you right now, it does not feel good. Yeah, someone just said regret. That's how I feel when I'm doing this. It's just a sense of regret. you lying in your deathbed, for example, maybe even 90 years old. Now let's move to 90. You're about to die. And all you feel is that regret, right? Shame, okay? That's a good one. Because believe it or not, brothers, we will die one day. And I don't mean to be morbid, but there's a high chance that if you keep this path that you're on, being a perfectionist your whole life, waiting for the right thing, the right time, you will feel these feelings of regret, shame, disappointment, like they said, disgrace, angry at self. Very true. I think negative visualizations are just as important as positive ones. I think it's good to remind ourselves in our lives the implications of not taking action, of staying in our course. It's very easy. You might have heard about positive visualizations or visualizing yourself with the girl in the Ferrari and the money, etc. That's all great. Good stuff, whatever. But it's also great to remind ourselves of the negatives, right? You not taking that action. How does that feel? So I'm glad you did that with me. And I think that will push you. Maybe if you learn one thing from this lecture, I hope that this visualization helped you to change some course in your life. And I'm going to give you more practical advice on how to do that very soon. Actually, right now. So one of the biggest things to overcoming this feeling of perfectionism is momentum in taking action every single day, even on the small stuff. So I really believe that as long as you show up, as I said, even take action in the wrong direction, who cares? You show up every single day. Every single day, and you show up and you work on the thing that you have to do. You will be a success in time. Maybe right now it doesn't feel like it. Maybe you'll fail. Maybe you chose the wrong business. Whatever. But most people out there are not even doing that. Most people are in their head. They're distracted maybe. So in my opinion, as long as there's any momentum, even just 1% momentum, 1% better than yesterday, like I said, getting up every single day and being like, today, I want to move towards my goal. I'm not going to be in my head. I'm not going to be a perfectionist today. I'm going to move towards my goal. That will give you an advantage over those who are in their head or distracted by technology. You really don't need the stars to be aligned, right? A lot of us wait for the perfect time, the perfect moment. I think all that's important is, are you moving towards something, anything today? It could be in the wrong direction. You'll learn from it, as I said. That's what matters. Thank you, Ayek, for your words. I appreciate it. I'm going to answer your questions later, by the way, so keep your questions. We're going to answer them soon. So now that we got that out of the way, momentum, let's talk about the biggest hurdles and things that you'll face. Now that you understand, okay, I don't want to be a perfectionist, I'm going to take action, even in the wrong direction. What are the biggest hurdles that you're going to face on this journey, now that you understand this? I think the first one I really want to talk about is a limiting belief that you may have, maybe even unconsciously, but it's a common limiting belief. And it's this limiting belief that you think you need to believe in yourself first before you take action. Or you need to do some affirmation or something to believe in yourself and whatever. That doesn't matter. And do you think I believe in myself? Most of the time, 98% I don't. And I say that honestly. You don't need to believe in yourself to take action. I don't know who told you that you need to believe in yourself and do these affirmations and all that to take action. Does it help? Of course. I'm not going to argue and say believing in yourself doesn't help. But most of us don't have that. So most of us just wait and we take that as an excuse. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I don't really think I could do this. I don't really believe in myself. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait a year. Belief is not a prerequisite, bro. And that's a newsflash. You're just delaying your action. You're delaying action to get that life that you want. You need to take action to give yourself or your future self that opportunity to believe in yourself more. And so that's what I mean. Action comes first and then belief comes second. It's not the other way around. Yes, could it happen? Of course it could. And that would be maybe ideal, but most of us don't have that. Most of us don't believe in ourselves. Most of us just hate ourselves, maybe. Does that matter? In the grand scheme of things, no. Your goal is to still do the work and take action. Because at the end of the day, there is no shortcut. You still have to take action. No one's going to do the work for you. No one's coming to save you. That is the newsflash. There is no secret trick to take action. It just, can you stay focused? Can you do the work and actually take action no matter what direction? I'm sure you're smart enough. You're on self-improvement. It's not like you're going to, I don't know, be a male stripper or something. You're going to pick something good. And so I don't doubt that. But you want it to be perfect. You want to pick that right business, that right goal. It doesn't matter. Like a video game. Life is really a video game. You get more XP over time. And the XP in this case is believing in yourself. It's an example of you start your fitness journey. And at least I could speak from personal experience. I'm sure most of you can attest to this. You don't believe in yourself when you start. You're like, why me? Why should I get jacked? And all that stuff. But if you don't listen to that voice, you just show up day in, day out. You eat the right foods. You eat the right protein. You do the work. You be consistent. You go to the gym. One day, guess what? You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to be like, wow, I look jacked. Now I feel more confident. Now I actually believe that this is doable. Before I didn't think this, but my results proved that wrong. And now something switched in my brain. And that is what you want to have. And that switch doesn't come through sitting at home being like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is the right thing. I don't know what to study. I don't know what notes to write. Whatever it is, man. And yes, that's the beautiful thing about action, is that we can all take it today and right now without any prerequisites. Same thing with my YouTube channel, for example. When I started, I told you, I didn't believe in myself. I thought I was going to fail. Why me? Literally, why me out of everyone else? But I just showed up, and over time, your self-image and your identity changes, and you're like, you know what, I could do this. It's not that bad. But that doesn't come through sitting at home and just overthinking it. And yes, visualizing helps. Maybe affirmations helps. But you have to pair that with action. Otherwise, you're just bullshitting yourself. I'm not even kidding. If you visualize all day how you're going to have the perfect life and the perfect Ferrari, but your reality is a man who's just purposeless, who's just at home, wasting his time, jacking off, not doing the right habits, it's not going to help. It's just a waste of time. As I said, Does it help to do these things? Does it help to do visualizations? Does it help? Of course it does. But that's secondary. You pair that with action, with consistent action. Literally, this just shows you there's no excuse for you to take action on what you're procrastinating on what you think needs to be perfect. There's literally no excuse. So yeah, that's a little rant about self-belief. And the first thing that, at least personally, I've experienced, and I had to really sit with myself and be like, you don't need any of this. All you need is action, focused action. And speaking of focus, I want to talk about another hurdle that you might encounter on this journey. So yes, you understand more. Again, more is right. I need to stop being a pussy, stop being a perfectionist. I need to actually take action on the needle movers, right? You understand that. One of the biggest modern hurdles is technology. And you know this. I like to look at the world and the patterns of people. And a very prevalent one is that us humans are becoming more and more and more addicted to technology. And it's only going to get worse. Not to be the bearer of bad news, it's only going to get worse. The metaverse maybe is coming, or it is coming. Zuck is gonna come up with a metaverse. Everyone's going to be in their own bubble. So I like to look at patterns in the world and see what people are following. And I like to not follow the sheep to the slaughterhouse and basically distance myself from what those people are doing. So most people addicted on Instagram, TikTok, all these apps. The answer to be a superhuman and actually take action in today's world, real action, not just BS action, is to avoid these technologies and don't copy what your friends are doing. You don't need to be on TikTok. Unless you're consuming, there's no reason. Unless you're producing, there's no reason to be on these platforms. And I think YouTube is an exception because with YouTube, there's a big benefit to consuming. I personally changed my life through being on YouTube. I wouldn't be here if I didn't meet Hamza or the algorithm one day just showed me his videos. That's really how I got into self-improvement and really took it seriously since 2 years ago. And so, yeah, that I think is an exception. But TikTok, no reason to be on that. So do the opposite of what your friends are doing, of what the sheep are doing, to really gain an advantage and make it easier to take action in today's world. Because today's world doesn't have your best interest. It's harder than ever to take action on the right stuff. You have Netflix, you have all these apps, even porn, which is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. I really believe that most of you listening to this will be light years, and I mean this, light years away, if you just avoid that, if you just don't follow the sheep. And let's be honest, most of these platforms, they're pretty stupid. Like Instagram. Mindlessly scrolling. There's nothing productive there. Oh, maybe you can say your friends are there. Okay, cool, but they can text you. The only reason I use Instagram, and I say this sometimes, is to produce. I'll just go on there once a week and just post a story and dip. That's it. Most people are just NPCs. Let's put it there. Most people are not even conscious of their life. They're like, yeah, I want to take action. This is motivating more. This is so cool. I want to take action. I want to stop being a perfectionist. But they don't understand that the biggest modern hurdle are these things. And I sympathize with you because I was addicted to these apps. I don't know how young people are on these apps like Instagram. I'm 22 years old. I got Instagram when I was in 6th grade. It's just, for me, that's young. I don't know, maybe 5-year-olds are getting Instagram nowadays. 5-year-olds are on TikTok. I think it's sad, and it's only going to get worse. And just, this is motivating. I hope this is motivating, because if you're listening to this and you're in self-improvement, you can gain an advantage over these people. I say this all the time. Your competition is pretty much non-existent. It really isn't. While most men are out there just scrolling on TikTok, just seeing dumb shit, like whatever, some dumb video, you're reading a book. You're trading that time, you're trading that entertainment for education. That is actually powerful. If you take anything from this, is trade your entertainment for education. Take that time they used to do TikTok, they used to watch Netflix, trade that for education. And over time, maybe you don't think that's fun, but that is better than Netflix. Reading is 100 times better than Netflix. And if you disagree, maybe there's some work they need to work on yourself. Maybe you're just a noob on self-improvement. It's not bad, but it's just me telling you that you need to improve yourself even more, because that shouldn't be your belief that Netflix is better or more entertaining than reading a book. I don't understand how that's possible. Like society, or maybe even the apps, have brainwashed you to think and feel like it's more fun because you get more dopamine from it, etc. But really sit with yourself and be like, yeah, I really need to start trading that entertainment for my education, that entertainment time. So yeah, while most people are just scrolling on Instagram, another post, another like, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to learn a new skill. You're going to take action on what you've been procrastinating on what you wanted to be a perfectionist on before this lecture. You're going to become better. While the average American, the average person out there is just scrolling. The reason I said the average American is because I read something that I wrote the average American will spend nearly 9 years of their lifetime on their phone. Isn't that depressing? I found that today. That is, I don't know, just thinking about that, 9 years of your life goes to the drain. Now, yes, maybe some people are using their phone productively to talk to people, etc. But most people out there, they're just mindlessly scrolling. They're just on these random apps. I generally don't get that. So if you get anything from this, is you can really trade your entertainment trade your entertainment for education and change your life. And you need to start being more intentional with the action that you take. And stop just letting these technologies consume you. And change your day. And change your thoughts as well. Believe it or not. Really change your thoughts. I personally, when I'm thinking about my life, I don't want to be on my deathbed, and I don't want to be on that bed and think, or actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. Do any of you think that if you'd be on your deathbed, you would think, oh, I wish I watched more TikTok. I wish I was scrolling on Instagram more. You know what? I wish I saw more girls shaking their ass on TikTok. That would have been great. Or, I wish I saw more prank videos on YouTube. I really wish I did that. Of course not. That sounds ridiculous, right? That sounds ridiculous. But it's very easy to get into that tunnel right now, to be stuck in that distraction tunnel and not see the bigger picture. And this is the bigger picture. I'm telling you. You need to think of these things more, right? I spoke on these concepts like death, the negative visualizations that we did. Why? Because most men out there don't do this. They just don't. They just live their life on autopilot, like NPCs. And again, you can do whatever you want. But I know if you're listening to this, you're not one of those people. They live like NPCs. And they don't think about these stuff. Like, yes, you're going to die one day. And I said in this lecture, each and every one of you has some sort of gift, some sort of God-given purpose, and maybe you don't know it yet. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're in the pursuit of that. That you open your eyes every single morning and you're like, today is the day I'm going to try find something, to fixate my attention on. Maybe it's self-improvement. I say this many times. Your purpose, most of your purposes of you guys listening should be self-improvement, because maybe you just got started with this. It doesn't have to be magical or crazy. It literally could be, I want to improve myself. That's my purpose right now. So I don't know. I hope this gave you a different perspective, because most people just sugarcoat this concept. Yeah, you know what? I'm telling you as is. In your deathbed, what are you going to think? Are you going to think, yeah, I wish I watched more TikTok. I wish I watched more girls shaking their ass, or some prank video or something. You see all these videos, or some dog video, or some funny memes. Nothing against memes, by the way. They're great. But you know what I mean. So I just hope that gives you perspective, because most of us are not introspective. Most of us just, again, go on autopilot, and we don't have these moments to think about the big picture. And this is the big picture, brother. The big picture is, yes, one day you're going to die. I don't want you to waste your time. And this all ties to being a perfectionist, because I don't want you to live in regret and disappointment. Having all these feelings that you felt in your negative visualizations, to be honest, brother, that's what's coming for you if you don't change course. And I'm going to say this, there isn't anything magical about taking action. There isn't anything magical about suddenly not being a perfectionist. I think I gave you the tools, and the tools are simple. I think the timeless stuff and the simple stuff are usually the most effective. And so, yeah, brother, I really hope this helped. And I hope this gave you a new perspective on the topic, because a lot of people just sugarcoat it. And the reality is, if you don't wake up every single day with fire, with ambition, with that feeling of, yes, I need to take action. I need to stop being in my head. This is the last day I'm going to be in my head thinking about the business, thinking about this bullshit thing. And it's the day I'm actually going to take action on the needle movers. And deep inside, you know the needle movers. You know that making a logo is not a needle mover. Is it fine to make a logo? Yes, I'm not anti-making a logo. But take 5 minutes and make a logo. Just relax. Stop wasting like 7 days on a logo. I have a great example before I wrap up and listen for questions. I started a Amazon brand around a year ago, and I launched your product. And right now I'm about to launch, or soon, in around a month, a second product. And here's the thing. I was very wary of my perfectionism. And I'm well aware of it, because it sometimes comes up. And I knew that there's a high chance that I'll spend a lot of time on the product research phase. So if you guys don't know Amazon, you know Amazon, I'm sure you do, but you can sell products there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so in the past, at least the first product, I wasted a lot of time researching. I wasted a lot of time waiting for the perfect product that doesn't exist. Like, honestly, it doesn't. And this time I learned, and I literally took 1-2 days of research for a product. And I was like, I found one. That's it. Press on the gas. We're not wasting time. What a lot of you guys will do in this scenario, believe it or not, don't lie to yourself. You would do this. Actually, this is the most common mistake of Amazon, of launching an Amazon product, is staying stuck in the Amazon research phase, finding that perfect product, which, newsflash, doesn't exist. Is there a better product than another one? Of course. That's why you do the research. It's not like you just jump into saying, yeah, I want to sell a water bottle. It's not like that. But I'm saying that process should be quick. And so coming back to what I said, most of you will just spend a week or two on the product research phase, and you'd be thinking, oh yes, maybe this one, shiny object syndrome, maybe this one, maybe that one. What about this? What about that? And meanwhile, there's another man like me, believe it or not, saw that first opportunity, just taking it, grabbing it. I'm going to do it. I don't need to wait for the perfect product. This is 70% perfect in my books. Go for it. Will I fail? Maybe. Does it matter? I don't think so. I'm young. I'm 23 years old. Maybe I'll fail. Maybe I'll lose whatever, $1,000, $2,000. But guess what? I'm going to pick up skills that I didn't have before. So I hope those real life examples helped you. I get really passionate about this because it affected me. And to this day, it still does. Part of the reason I enjoy making lectures is because it's on topics that I also struggle with. And yes, I teach it to you, but I'm not an expert by any means on this. I'm not 100% perfect. Just like this lecture is about. I'm not perfect. I still feel these feelings all the time. The feelings that I need to be perfect. So yeah, brother, I'm going to open the laptop. Let's see what questions you have. Good shit, Xavier. Thank you so much. Twice. Appreciate you, man. Yo, Muhammad, I appreciate your words. He said, bro, this lecture has made me pick up my fucking life and change. I've been on self-improvement for a year and no fucking progress because of perfectionism. I'm not going to sacrifice my life and my goals all to be a slave to perfectionism. And I'm not ever going to succumb to perfectionism ever again. From now on, I will become a man from this day. I will change my life. Not going to change my life or change my life after, but from this moment, I will change my life and end my depression. Appreciate you, brother. I'm going to lower the slow mode to a little bit so you guys can ask questions. Thank you for the words, guys. And guess what? I still, making this lecture right now, I still have these feelings that what if it's not good enough? Literally, there was one person who was just saying, I'm being real with you guys right now. There was one person who I told Xavier to ban like 30 minutes ago. And I'm not saying this story for you to be like, oh, Moore, you're so good. There's one person who was like, yeah, Moore, this sounds like you're saying the same shit, etc. For a second, I let it affect me, and I was like, shit, what if I am? What if it's not perfect? And I'm telling you, this is living proof. It literally happened during this lecture, which is crazy. And yeah, so that's the little spiel. So yeah, everything about life is not perfect. Louis asked, what's your advice on fully quitting negative use of social media? I can never consistently do it. Thanks for the lecture. Honestly, the way I did it is cold turkey. I know a lot of people advocate to do it gradually. At this point in my life, the way I did it is, or the way I suggest you do it, is just cold turkey, bro. Just tell everyone you're dipping, delete the app, throw your phone as you're working, just throw it downstairs. There's no reason for it to be near you. I know it sounds easier said than done, but most people don't even do that. Most people still have the app on their phone and they expect to quit. They expect it to be better. Now, will you still be addicted if you delete it? It's not going to actually fix things. You'll still have that addiction, but over time, your brain will adapt. And over a few months, you'll feel less attached to that addiction. And yeah, I mean, this is how I would do it. it's cold turkey and just avoiding your phone use, throw it out the window, whatever. It doesn't need to be with you while you're working. And yeah, I think actually another great advice is to become more purposeful. I think a lot of us that are addicted to our phones, deep inside, we're not actually that purposeful, or maybe we don't have a lot of things going for ourselves. You don't maybe have a clear schedule, what you do every single hour of the day. And that likely is causing you to be distracted, to find time for Instagram, to find time for TikTok. Very common mistake. There's a good quote that says, lack of purpose creates distraction. This is exactly the point I'm trying to say here. Your lack of purpose, whether you want to admit it or not, maybe you're like, no more, I'm the most purposeful man ever. Even I have more room for growth. So I'm not some cocky guy that is like, I'm better than you. No, bro. Tying back to this lecture, I'm not perfect. 100% not perfect. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. Louis, maybe that helps you, maybe it doesn't. %1 said, I think you should have a lecture on NoFap. I did one in the past, but yeah, I'll do one. Poi Raz, thank you for taking notes. I appreciate it. I think Poi Raz, get into stoicism. It just, I think the most powerful thing as a man is not overreacting and being very calm under pressure. And I would definitely say that stoicism helps. That's a big, big tool that you can use. And yeah, and also I would say meditation, learning to be still with negative thoughts, with all these moving parts. You learn to be still with it. If chaos happens in my outside world, through constant meditation and working on myself and changing my mindset, internally, I'm very calm. There's very few things right now in my life that could move me internally. Not saying that to boast. I'm just saying that should inspire you, because maybe there's more room for growth. Please tell us your thoughts on discipline and motivation. I mean, you know the answer, brother. I don't have to tell you. You know that you've heard this a million times. Motivation is bullshit. I don't feel motivated. Probably 99% of my day, I don't feel motivated. I don't feel motivated right now. Does that stop me from taking action? No. There's still that time block in my day that I said, yes, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to do the lecture. It's still there. So I'm going to show up, even if I don't feel motivated. Will you have times where you're more motivated than others? Of course. But just like the belief, this ties exactly back to the belief thing I said. Belief is great, but it's not necessary. Same thing with motivation. Motivation is fleeting. I could listen right now to the most motivating podcast, or not even podcast, the most motivating David Goggins video. You know a million people in your life that listen to that BS. Are they millionaires? Are they successful? I mean, most of these people watch these motivating videos. Maybe they are successful. Maybe there's 1%. But they know that motivation fades after a few hours, and then they're back to their shitty reality because they're not disciplined, because they're not taking action. I say this many times. Discipline is a form of freedom, because if you stay disciplined right now, your future self will thank you because you'll have more freedom. You'll be able to do more of what you want to do. But if you decide, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm going to wake up today, maybe do some deep work. Maybe if I feel like it. Let's see. This feels good. Not having a schedule feels good. I feel more freedom, actually. More is wrong about discipline. I feel good right now. But guess what? You're not going to take as much action as the guy who knows exactly what he does at every single hour and plans his day and is disciplined and shows up every single day to this workout at this hour. So your lack of discipline is going to hurt you. It's lack of discipline is instant gratification at its finest. So you know the answer, brother, Visser. You know the answer. Motivation is bullshit. I don't feel motivation. I don't feel it. Yeah, guys, also, if you have a question, just tag me. And don't ask twice. But yeah, please tag me just so I can see. How can we avoid bad advice circle in our life? Understand that I don't know how old you are, but it doesn't matter. Maybe let's say you're 16. It doesn't matter. You should grow up and be a man at this point, and you don't need anyone's advice or anyone's kind of opinion to sway you. Like, yes, maybe it's different with your parents because your parents are paying for your expenses, etc. So if you're young, it's kind of hard not to listen to them. But I really think that toxic people, especially friends, easier said than done, but don't listen to their bullshit. Just keep doing your path, keep following your purpose, keep following your mission. It's so much easier said than done. But avoid those people at all costs if you can. I know it's harder with toxic parents because they're part of your life, but you can still try to listen to what they have to say and take it respectfully. Be like, I respectfully disagree. You don't have to take it to heart. What a lot of people do is their parents will tell them something and they take that to the heart and they let that influence their decisions. So let's say your parents are like, no, you can't become an entrepreneur. That's bullshit. You can't do this. You need to do the traditional path. And you believe otherwise. A lot of people fall under pressure and just go for the advice. But I think the other way around. I think you're probably old enough to think for yourself and you know your life better than anyone else does. And you need to be a man at this point and decide, yeah, let me think about this. Guys, I think you're actually wrong. I'm going to respectfully disagree. It's your life at the end of the day. So I'm just reading some stuff. I want to give you the best answers, so I really want to think about it. My man, I kind of talked about that. Good question, guys. I'm trying to think. Muhammad, Good question, brother. I think constantly reminding you, or maybe even rewatch this lecture once in a while, honestly. This is how I do. I constantly remind myself because it's not like you can take this in once and you're set for life. Perfectionism is like the devil. It's going to come at you, it's going to come back for you. And I think the way that you tune out perfectionism is you keep reminding yourself. You keep reminding what the fundamentals that I'm teaching you, that it doesn't matter. You need to take action anyway. Otherwise, you're going to live in regret. And it's a sad truth, a sad reality. It's all an illusion. You're never going to get and be perfect. So you're better off just taking imperfect action. And something I need to remind myself very often. And yeah, you should as well. So it's just about reminding yourself. There's no magic cure. There's no magic tip. People always look for magic stuff, and they don't exist. It all comes back to the fundamentals, the boring stuff. Me telling you, like, yeah, you need to take action anyway, even if you don't feel like it. That's what this whole movement is about, right? Hamza says, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. So, hope that helps, brother. I'm going to put this Q&A part. Yep. Yeah, Borf said, you briefly mentioned early in the lecture that we can be afraid of success as well as failure. Could you elaborate on that? So I think a lot of us, maybe we're not conscious of this, but there are two factors that stop us from taking the action that we want, two common ones. And the most common one is obviously fear of failure. You fear that you take action, it's going to fail, land on your face, it's going to suck. And the second one is fear of success, which is not talked on very often. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but I think we all experience it to a certain degree. And what this means is you fear what comes with that success. You understand? Sorry, I gotta call 1 second. Okay, I cut off. Yeah, you fear what comes with that success, and it could be more responsibility. It can unfold in many ways. For me, at least, the way I see it for myself is probably responsibility. Is the fear that I know if I build something and I'm making money and I'm successful, there's a high chance that I'll have more responsibility. And I guess being conscious of it is important, right? So, yeah. Hopefully that helps you to think about your life. Kareem asked, what do you do if you're getting made fun of by people who are bigger and stronger than you? I know that you're probably going to say don't give a fuck about them and focus on yourself. Yeah, that's like the generic answer. I mean, what I would say, Kareem, is know that hate always comes from below. And no matter who's hating on you, let's take the guy in this lecture, for example, from before. There's a guy who was like, more, this lecture sucks. This all sounds generic, etc. So let's take that guy, for example. Do you think that guy's happy? Like, I don't scold anyone, literally. I don't find ways to scold people. I don't need to. Because I'm happy, I'm on the pursuit of self-improvement. Life is great. So usually when people come down at you, Even if they're bigger and stronger, I don't know, maybe you're saying physically. Okay, but mentally, they're weaker than you. If someone has to bring you down, then it all comes from below. And I hope that gives you, I guess, hope. Because hate never comes from above. It just the laws of the universe. It never comes from above. If someone's doing better than you, he's always gonna be more humble. He's gonna try to help you. I mean, are there exceptions? Obviously. The world is not a perfect place, but generally that is the rule. And I would say in your example, that should give you hope. So all right, guys, any more questions? All right, you got some good questions. Guys, by the way, I said this in the last lecture. If I don't answer your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you, but it's simply because I don't feel like I can answer it well enough to help you. So, I say this because a lot of people are just answer whatever, but I'm not God. I don't know everything. So, I'm not perfect, just like this lecture is about. So, yeah, I'm not going to answer every single thing. So, gamma radiation said limiting beliefs are in the subconscious. Is it possible to completely get rid of limiting beliefs so they never come up in your life again? So, this is actually something I've done and I've worked on. Crazy stuff. To change your limiting belief, you have to be, first of all, aware of them first, right? Easier said than done. Most of you aren't aware of your limiting belief. Let's put it there. Most of you, if I were to quiz you right now, like take out a piece of paper and write 10 limiting beliefs, it's going to take you a while. You really need to sit still with yourself. So that's true for most people. So step number one to getting rid of your limiting beliefs is being conscious of them, putting them on paper. Number one. I suggest writing 15 limiting beliefs on paper. You have limiting beliefs. You have 15 for sure. I have 15 for sure. I mean, I know I do because I do this practice. So I do update them as well. So that's step number one. Conscious of them, write them down. Step number two is you flip them around. So let's say I believe that I can't get girls. Although this sounds like brainwashing, this actually works. So, and maybe it sounds like BS, but trust me, this works. So you write on a piece of paper and you flip it around. So instead of saying, yeah, I can't get girls, I'm a pussy, whatever, which is your current limiting beliefs, you change that to, you know what, I can easily get girls. I live in abundance, etc. So although this is kind of brainwashing and to other people it sounds funny, etc., you wrote those down, right? 15 limiting beliefs, then you change them to 15 inverses of that limiting belief. Now that you have that, what you need to do every single day is pick 5 out of the 15, read each one, and don't just read it because that's bullshit. It's not going to happen. Nothing's going to change. What you need to do to change that limiting beliefs, and this ties to visualizations, which is powerful, is you visualize the end goal of that. So for example, with the girls, you visualize how it's easy to get girls, how they're speaking to you, they're texting you, how you're more confident with them, right? How it's easier to speak with them. You're not as nervous. Over time, and you really need to feel. You don't just think or visualize. Visualizations they don't actually work if you don't feel an emotion, like any emotion at all. So you need to also feel. How does it feel to have that end goal? What does it feel like not to be nervous with a girl, to be very still and present and not nervous, etc.? You do that every single day, your life will change. Let's put it there. Your life will change. And over time, at least the way I do it, I read it every single day. I have like a Word document or a Google Doc, And I change my limiting belief all the time because now that I read this limiting belief, I don't have it yet. So I'm proof that this works. You can change your limiting beliefs over time. It's not going to be over one day. Most men just want fast results. We live in a time where everything is instantaneous. Everyone wants, the quick result. If it was so easy, bro, every single guy will have amazing limiting beliefs. I could tell you that it takes months. And if that turns you off, if you don't want to do it, then stay with your limiting beliefs. Good for you. You're not, you don't want to do it, don't do it. I'm not forcing you to do it. But if you actually want to change your life, that is powerful. And yes, do that alongside action, just like we talked about in the lecture. Powerful stuff. Take action. Don't just visualize and, do all these things. Alongside those visualizations, crazy stuff. Thank you, Muhammad. Appreciate you. What is your best advice to cut off a Jeffrey friend? So the best advice to cut off a friend is not to do anything instantaneously. Very slowly. So the way I would do it is one day they're inviting you for, to get food. And you tell them, no, I'm busy right now. I'm sorry. And then they keep inviting you. And you're like, no, I'm busy. Over time, they're going to get the memo. What you don't want to do is be direct with them. At least in this case. I'm not against being direct with people. But I don't think it's the right approach to hurt that guy who, he's just, he's a Jeffrey. He doesn't want to change. Okay. I don't think it's the right thing to sit with him and be like, yo, you're a loser. I don't want to be with you. That hurts people. And I don't think that's the right approach. At least the way I would do it is just slowly cut them off. But again, don't take this the wrong way and think that it's not good to be direct with people. It's good. But specifically with a friend who didn't harm you. This is actually the side note that you need to understand. He didn't harm you, right? If this friend caused harm to you, of course, be real with him. Don't be a pussy and just don't talk to him. You can be mean to him. But if he's just a good guy and whatever, he's Jeffrey. He's stuck in video games. He's stuck doing the bad habits. I feel bad for him, and I wouldn't just be direct with him. So just slowly let that relationship die down, in my opinion. So. All right, we're going to do 13 more minutes of questions, and then we're out. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, Kermit, I understand your question. So Kermit is asking, what if internally you understand that it's not good to be a perfectionist, but externally you need to be a perfectionist? So Kermit wants to be a pilot, which is amazing, by the way, and his exams need to be near perfect. So, I get that. I've taken, for example, I know it's different. I know it's not the same, but I could speak from experience. I've taken college exams which were very important to get X grade, whatever. But the way I see it, let me think here. I don't want to give you something that's half-assed. Yeah, you need to be, just like the stoicism that I said before, you need to be unmoved by the currents of the external world. So yes, logically you understand that pilot school and all these tests, you need to get X grade to pass, etc. Totally understood. But you need to be still with that and understand, okay, that is the reality. I'm going to, just like you said, I think you said it well. That's the reality. I'm going to do my very best to show up and take action in the right direction. And you know what if maybe there's a chance I'll fail, but at least I'm taking action in the right direction, and I'm not letting that fear of failure there's a chance I'll fail, there's a chance it won't work out, stop me from taking action. So again, it's just being still with that, with your mind and with that thought that, yeah, maybe you'll fail. Maybe you'll fail. Maybe it's not right for you. Maybe there's another thing for you. But that shouldn't change the fact that you take action. So just don't let that outside world, the external world change you, and be very still and stoic with it and unmoved by the tides of the external world. So I hope that helped. Yo, Fielda, I'm doing great. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Visor said, I feel like I only have Jeffrey friends. It's so difficult to find good, high quality masculine men. So if you're real with yourself and you actually think that you deserve a high quality friend because you're one yourself, then I would say think about where these high quality men would be. So maybe like a MMA gym or at the gym, right? So just thinking, okay, where would they reside? So with like the online world, where do people on self-improvement reside? On this Discord, maybe. So that's a start. So I know it's easier said than done, but just everyone's different. Everyone's country is different, etc. But I think some good ones are just delayed gratification activities. Where could men be doing delayed gratification activities? And do I also want to do that? So if you like some sport, that's a good start. If you like to go to the gym, that's a good start. Maybe try to talk one day with some big dude. That's cool. Maybe do that. So, yeah, that should help you, brother. So Kareem said, how do I be more consistent going to the gym, as I currently go once, maybe even twice if it's a good week? So if you've read Atomic Habits, it's a great book. It teaches you about the concept of making a habit stick. And a lot of it has to do with making it easier for yourself. So how can you make it easier for yourself to show up? So that could be, at least in my life, maybe even set an alarm on your phone telling you that at this hour you go to the gym. Let's say every single day you set an alarm that just repeats at 8 in the morning, for example. Just repeats at 8 in the morning, and it says, in the text of the alarm, it says, don't be a pussy. Your younger self told your future self to show up. You better fucking do it. Something like that. I know that sounds like made it on the fly. I did. So that's easy, right? You see that, you're like, oh shit, that makes it easier for myself because now I know that at this time I'm going to do this. So maybe even put it in your schedule. Every single day at this time I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the gym in your case. And maybe the day before you want to leave your gym clothes outside. Leave your running shoes right near your door, whatever, to make it easier for yourself. Maybe even get a gym partner if you have someone at school that pushes you and is like, yeah, bro, get the fuck up. It's 8 in the morning. Got to go to the gym. So it's just about being creative with ways to make it easier for yourself. From personal experience, I did the gym clothes thing and the running shoes, put it outside my door and put it in my schedule. Like I know exactly what time every single day I'm going to the gym. This way, there's no question. The reason why it's difficult for you is because there's some uncertainty. This is why it's very difficult for people to be disciplined. That's like the easiest answer to all your discipline shit, all your discipline problems. It's that there's 1%, maybe 1% uncertainty in your life about when you'll go to the gym. When you know exactly at what time you go to the gym and nothing popped up, like of course you're gonna show up to the gym. It's like 7:55 and you get that alarm, go to the gym, pussy. Are you just gonna fucking keep scrolling on TikTok while you literally have your running shoes right near you, and your friend is calling you to get outside because otherwise you're a pussy? And also, most like if you do all that shit and it's still hard for you, it's time to grow up. Like, I'll be honest with you, it's time to grow up and be more accountable, take more accountability over your life. Because you know what, I could say as much shit as I can to make your life easier, to put the gym clothes outside, to schedule in your calendar. You can do all that shit, but you might still fail. And that's a sign that you really need to step up your game. Like, I'm serious with you. It's really time to take accountability and be like, shit, like, what is stopping me? Even journal, bro. Just stop and journal. Why am I even going twice a week? I know this has been like a whole rant, but journal. Why am I going twice a week? There's maybe something wrong. Maybe I'm very distracted. Like, what is fucking up my gym? Why am I not going? So yeah, it's time to take accountability as well. If this is a common problem and you've done all the things to make your life easier, and yeah. So read Atomic Habits if you haven't already. That should also help you. So Luke said, "What is your best advice for not feeling like an outsider in a social situation?" Honestly, even I feel like an outsider sometimes with people. So I think maybe it's a sign that you're not with the right crowd sometimes. And like, I would feel like an outsider with people who are below me as well. I mean, no, don't want to be like shit to them. Nothing bad on them, but if someone's like a Jeffrey, I feel like an outsider. So this goes both ways. If someone is probably, fucking millionaire, and you're like, what is this guy doing with me? You'll feel like an outsider. So maybe it's a sign that you're not supposed to be with them at this time. That's at least how I see it personally. Like, I don't want to feel that feeling. It's like a shitty feeling to feel like you're not meant to be there with those people. They're not the right crowd. So maybe go look for a different crowd. That's how I would see it. I don't think it's normal, though, to feel it all the time with the people that you surround yourself with. So that's how I see it. Any more questions, brothers? Yeah, of course, bro. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, guys. With that being said, I want to ask you a final question that I want to leave off on, and that is a question for you. So let me actually, before you dip, I'm actually gonna remove the slow mode. I know I didn't do it before, but I'm gonna do it right now, and then I'm gonna ask you a question. So get ready. Now it's like 15 seconds. Just don't spam. But I want to ask you a question that hopefully will help you. So what, after you heard me rambling for 2 hours, I think, almost, I want to ask you, what will you take imperfect action on today? Maybe it's late today, so maybe tomorrow, but just jot something down, because I don't want you to not take practical kind of action after this whole lecture and just go back to your old self. Just jot something down that you're going to change. That could be starting that business. It could be studying for that test that you thought has to be perfect. Your notes have to be perfect and aligned with the stars. Fuck that shit. So yeah, let's hear it. What are you guys gonna do? There's no slowdown anymore. Deal. Nice shit. Maybe I'll do a workout. Don't say maybe, bro. You're going to do a workout. Nice. Yeah, reframe that, bro. Just that uncertainty. This is exactly what I spoke about before. Like when you're uncertain about shit, then your actions are going to align with that. You're not going to take action because you're so uncertain. You're like, maybe, and you think it doesn't matter. It does matter. Those maybes, maybe I'm going to do it. Maybe I feel like it. No, bro, I'm fucking going to take action. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go to the gym. That's it. And that's scary sometimes for us to say, right? It's scary for us to make that commitment to our future self. But that's what you should be doing. You need to make that commitment. You understand? So let's see what you guys got. Yo, thank you so much, man. Do 30. Let's go. I'll do 30 after this lecture just for you. All right, man? Yeah, Shadow, you should probably go to sleep. Sleep is very important. I'll read at least 50 pages and I'll hit the gym. Good shit, man. Guys, follow through with what you're telling yourself to do. It's going to feel imperfect. You'll want to be perfect. You'll want the stars to align, but just take action anyway. What other things you guys got? Let's see. And then I'm going to dip. Also, apparently there's a little glitch where unverified people can get in this channel. That's why you see like unverified people. They don't understand what's happening. Nice, Louis. Good shit. You don't need TikTok. It's just brainwashing you and it's bullshit. I genuinely don't get it. Read the Bible. Okay. Good shit. What else, guys? Finish the Quran. I'll uninstall Instagram for good. Yeah, bro. Just follow through with that. I'm telling you. All right, guys. So just want to say thank you for listening. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. I don't take that lightly. I know you've invested time in your day. Maybe it's evening for you, so go to sleep. But honestly, really appreciate it. Want to thank you guys for the opportunity. I also want to thank Hamza for the opportunity. I know he's not listening, but without him, I wouldn't be here. Just like I told you guys in the lecture, I wouldn't be here. So the lecture will be posted on my channel. I'm going to put it here. So if you want, you can check it out. You can subscribe. If not, I don't really care. Guys, get going. Just do some shit. Take some action. If you took something from this whole lecture, it's to stop being perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. And yeah, brother. Hope that helped, guys. It has been an absolute pleasure. I will see you in a week. I do these every week now. It's fun. It's fun for me to do these. It's fun for me to challenge myself and come up with a topic every single week. And yeah, not be perfect. Because in the past, I wanted to do these every month or every 3 weeks. And today I'm like, fuck it. I want to challenge myself. And yeah, this pushes me to do these more often. So hope this helped you guys. I'll see you next time, guys. See you next week. All right. Peace out and thank you again.